Hi guys, welcome to our first webinar at Digital Marketing Tribe. So today I'll be running through Google Ads basics. I'm super excited to cover this off because A, I'm a massive nerd and I love talking about this stuff. But B, I'm really excited that I now work with a company who wants to support my love of sharing the information and really raising the bar in Adelaide, in general, really, on digital marketing. I think it's really needed. So if I go to my next slide, which is going to happen any second. All right, let's get that out of the way. I run a digital marketing meetup every month, which some of you might know me from. I've been in digital marketing for the last 7 or 8 years, managed huge Google Ads spend up to $1 million a year. And what I'm really passionate about is helping you guys understand how the tools work. Now, for some people, it's great to get in and use the tools and try it out and make it work. And we're aimed at giving people the tools and the understanding to do that, to jump in and make it work. But the other idea here is to give you a good idea. So maybe you jump in and have a bit of a play with it. And then when you talk to an agency, like Digital Marketing Tribe or any of the others out there, there's some good people, you've got a really good understanding about what you're asking for. So I recommend that everybody jump in at Google Ads and have a bit of a go. Get yourself a $100 trial from Google Ads. They usually give you $300 credit to give it a go. And then work out what works and what doesn't. Get a feel for the interface so that when you're getting reports from agencies and when you're asking for things from an agency, you've really got a good understanding of what you're looking for. So those are the 2 target markets of the people that we're covering off today. They're both people who are wanting to learn how to use Google Ads, but also people who want to know how it works so they can more effectively manage resources, whether it be an agency or even an internal resource. You know, you've got someone working for you and you want to understand how it all works. So is my left and right buttons going to work now? Yes, look at that. So we've kind of covered why. Obviously, part of this is I'll do a little pitch at the end to say use Digital Marketing Tribe. But the big why really is just to share the knowledge and the love, like I've been doing the last 2 years of Digital Marketing Meetup. Moving along. So what is Google Ads? It's a fantastic question. Google Ads are the things that come across the top here. Now, the keen and you, anyone that follows me on my socials, will point out that this screenshot is a little old and the green ad is now black. And that's true. What can I say? No, it's perfect. I saw this. I went through and I've been so used to looking at these ads that I went, yeah, that's right. But yeah, next time we run this, I'll definitely have that updated. So we're covering off the difference here between Google Search and Google Shopping. So we're just covering Google Search ads today. No display, no shopping, but you need to know the difference. So the Google Shopping are across the top. And they're more specific to a product. They give you a small description and a price, whereas search ads will cover off on, will be the ones lower down. So there's no image here, but what we do have is we've got a fair few lines to play with, and we've got some targeting options that will help us to give these to people. So keep hustling through. So these are display ads. These aren't covered, but it's good for you to know what they are. And if you're interested, let us know and we'll cover display ads in another session. Now, I'm not trying to promote SEMrush here. I just happen to have been on their website recently. And so when I went and took these screenshots, that's what came up. But these are display ads that come on the top or the left, top of the screen, or on the right-hand side or at the bottom. These are all Google display ads. So let's get into the anatomy of Google Ads, what they are, what they do. So these are the ads that sit at the top. We had a little bit of a discussion before starting session proper about near me, and we're talking about the influence on, you know, plumber near me or crash repairer near me, and that's more focused, I think, on SEO. This isn't search engine optimization. This is Google Ads, where the ads come across the top of the ads. They sit right at the top. and give you some information. So we can see here we have a headline at the top here. There we go. Oh, this is cool. And then we have the URL, and then we get some description lines. So you can see there, sometimes this is a desktop and a mobile view. With the high commercial intent of Google Ads, so let me unpack that for a second. What is high commercial intent? That is when someone is going to do something. They're looking to do something with purchasing behavior. So they're looking to buy something. And that's really where we see Google Ads shine, when people have purchase intent. They've come onto Google search and they've written in crash repairer, and they are looking to get the services of said crash repairer. So you really keep that in mind. When you're putting together your Google Ads. You're looking to get some with high commercial intent. Now, you can use Google Ads on more broad terms when people are trying to understand what they need to do. So they're not really at the buying phase. They're still trying to work out, how do I solve the problem? Where is it? And there is great success with that too. But the low-hanging fruit really is in the commercial terms, where crash repair and ME, you're definitely looking to buy generally. Also, if you're looking for 97 high-top Jordans, for instance, you're at size 11, you're pretty keen on buying. So let's keep moving. All right, you must have some sort of goal. If you don't know what you're trying to achieve with your Google Ads, then you're setting yourself up for failure. So I put this screenshot up here to let you know what not to do. We can see here we've got, from left to right, we've got impressions, interactions, which are clicks, average cost per click, which is average cost and cost. None of this helps you at all. Now, when you're first tempted to, when I say at all, that's an over-exaggeration. These things help, but the primary thing you want to focus on is, what do you want people to do on your website? Do you want them to fill out a contact form? Do you want them to make a purchase? Do you want them to call you? Whatever your KPI is, that should be your primary focus with Google Ads. So that's where we talk about conversion tracking. What we've got here are all pre-conversion metrics. Now, you could have a quick look at this graph, and if you're keen on numbers, the first thing you're going to look at and go, wow, that shopping campaign is doing amazingly here. Let me get this here with and they're really cheap. We're killing it. Problem is, you don't know what they're doing with this information. You don't know if they're buying or if they're just wasting the clicks. You don't have enough information here. So getting goals, really clear KPIs of what you're trying to achieve is really important when you're setting up your Google Ads campaign. All right, keywords versus search terms. Now, this is one that people struggle with. This is a part, I am going to record the video, so you will get opportunity, we'll upload it to YouTube and you'll get opportunity to watch this later if you want. So I'll go through this. Hopefully it makes a lot of sense for you, but if it doesn't, just rewatch this session a couple of times, or feel free to drop me a line. I have my contact details at the end of the session, and you can ask any questions you like, and I'll help you understand this concept. But basically, we've got keywords and we've got search queries, and they are different. They're same, but different things. So a search query is something that a searcher puts into into Google. A keyword is a word that you'll use in Google Ads to attract somebody. Why is this important? Well, it's important to understand that you don't actually need every variation of a keyword to get people clicking on your ads. We can see here we've got skinny jeans. All of the keywords all the search queries on the left-hand side here can be generated from this one term. And so it's really important to understand that it's not just an exact match. That is a type of targeting we can do. It's the only type. And the queries come in various shapes and forms. In fact, it's impossible to predict all of the things that people search. It's really, really difficult to understand that. Google come up with an obscene number. I think it's like 17% of daily searches have never been done before, or someone will correct me on this, but it's a large number of searches are completely brand new every single day. But if you have a keyword that is focused around what you're trying to achieve here, skinny jeans, quite clearly we're trying to sell skinny jeans, you're more likely to attract people who are looking to get, who are looking to buy your product. Moving on to the next term. So search term report location. So this gives you an idea of where to find the search term that you're looking for. So this gives you another idea of understanding. We've got on the left here, we have search terms, and keywords. Some of these have come through differently. It's really important to know where this is so you can understand where it works. Now, session, the whole time I'm working with you, I'm trying to think, where would I be if I'd never heard this before? And I'm thinking you'd feel a little lost right now, a little confused, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Bear with me, this will all come to make sense. So if I can just review how far we've gone so far, we're looking to sell things online, or we're looking to sell our services on Google. So we're going to create ads, and those ads are going to be triggered by keywords. So that's how far we've gotten so far. Oh, I said so far so many times then. It's great. So setting up your first campaign. This is the structure of what a campaign looks like. You've got your AdWords account at the top here. So that's where you keep your billing information, where it sits. From there, now a campaign's got a daily budget, a location, and an end date, and then you have an ad group that sits under that, and that's where the keywords go. That's where the keywords go. So this is the structure that Google has told us is best practice, and I've tried structures that are different to this to see if they've worked, and this is the kind of structure that works the best. So just keep that in mind, that your campaign is focused around a service. So you might go to your website and look at your different services, and you're picking a service or a product range. And then the keywords are the different variation. I mean, ad groups then break that down further. So we've got crash repairers. One of the areas would be painting. Would be say 2-pack painting. So you would have a campaign called 2-pack paint, and then you would have ad groups that have different areas of interest that are split out there. So you might have 2-pack paint. And then in one ad group, you've got location terms. So 2-pack paint near me, 2-pack paint prospect. The next one might be cost. How much does it cost to paint my car in 2-pack enamel? And so on and so forth. This is very specific one to crash repairers, and I happen to know a lot about that. That's why I've gone specific. But the example we had at the top was Hagues, and I like to use Hagues as an example because I look at it and I think they could probably improve. If someone's from Hagues, call me please. I'd love to help you with digital. I've been picking on it for 2 years now, and no one's ever called me, but I just love the brand, and so I can see how they can do better. If we go with Hagues, right? We've got Hagues AdWords account. A campaign might be box chocolate, and then your ad group would be certain variety of that box chocolate, or buying it online, or so on and so forth. I have to keep moving. Here's my Hagues example. You can see across the top here we've got the different types of services. All right, keyword types. We've got generic, we've got brand plus generic, and then we've got branded keywords. So generic keywords are more when we're talking about crash repairers. Branded generic is when we've got John's crash repairers, and then brand keywords is hey, John's crash repairers is awesome sort of thing. Again, not a great example. Let's go back to chocolate. Chocolate is a generic keyword. Hagues chocolate is a brand with a generic, and then branded would be a specific type of chocolate, like chocolate freckles at Hagues. Yeah, that would be a very specific branded keyword. And I warned the people on the pre-show that I had to turn the aircon off in here so that we didn't have a weird background noise, and the sweat has already started. So if I'm boring you too much, you can just watch my forehead and you can watch little sweat races happen. And that'll keep you amused as we go through the session. So this is the intimidating part of every new setup. You've set up your Google Ads account, you put your credit card in, and you're met with this screen. Well, fuck, what do I do with this? First thing you do is you hit that blue circle, and that gives you the goal of the campaign. Now, I like to set up website traffic as the first thing that I do until I've got the runs on the board. When I've got conversions in sales or leads, I will switch over for the campaign to be sales or leads, depending on what industry you're in. But yeah, very important that we go through website traffic, and then we're going to go search. So we're only covering search advertising today. Moving on, then we've got to give our campaign a name, thinking back to our campaign structure. Now I'm going to take you through building a brand campaign. Brand campaigns are really valuable. So it protects, so when I talk about brand campaigns, that's your name as a keyword. So if Hagues is a great example, it would be the keyword would be Hagues and Hagues associated terms, and this would be a brand campaign. This is really important to protect your brand from other competitors who are trying to get cheap clicks. So if your competitors, say Fruit Shocks, wanted to try and steal some of Hagues' traffic, Fruit Shocks could put an ad on the top of Hagues, and they would get some pretty cheap clicks through for people they know are interested in chocolate. By having a brand campaign, you protect that position because you'll always beat somebody who is a competitor with your own brand terms. Well, 99% of the time. You might have a god-awful website. That's a horse of a different color, but all things being equal, you should kill them. That's the first reason. The second reason you should always have a brand campaign is it actually makes your whole account look better from Google's perspective. You've got a higher click-through rate, you've got a higher time on page. Everything is looking fantastic because these are people who are actually looking for you, and they cost next to nothing. The clicks are a cent. So build a brand campaign. Getting back to it, we're building a campaign called Brand Terms. We're using Just Search Network. We've got include search partners here, and this is just for, I believe you'd have this turned off. Search a bunch of websites. Google doesn't tell us exactly who they are, but they are highly preferred partners that they will run your ads on. Typically, that doesn't have a great return on investment, but when it's a brand, it works really well. So leave that on for brand, off for everything else. Moving on. Next, we need to check our location. This one's really straightforward. We're going South Australia here, but we could target Adelaide. We can target multiple locations. That one's really easy. You can target a perimeter or a radius, or you can target a specific postcode. Pro tip, if you've got the time and you can go and find the postcode to the area you're targeting, you can put all the postcodes in, and then you can see where people are buying from you. And that's some great information, but it also means that you can pinpoint your advertising to just one postcode. And I have had some amazing results on that. Absolutely amazing. So here we are targeting just a postcode, One Tree Hill. Next, we want to set a budget. So we're setting a daily budget. There are options for monthly budgets that have come out recently, and they work really well too. But we're sticking with the real basics here, and from that perspective, we're just going to go with a daily budget of $10. Keep in mind that $10 a day over 30 days, and this is how Google will average it, 30.4. I just divided by 30 to make life simple. That's still a $300 budget. So keep in mind that this does get pricey quick if you're not thinking about it. So here we're going to maximize clicks. We want to drive as much traffic as we can to the website in the first instance. From there, after that, we then want to swap over. We want to, maximize for conversions, and that can be done later. But when you're first starting up, please trust me, maximize clicks is the best way you can go. It is semi-automated, where it'll get the cheapest click it can. When I say it, I mean Google. but it means that there's not a lot of messing around with manual bids, but you're not using cost per acquisition bidding where you're paying per lead, which sounds great, but unless you're driving high volume, typically gives you poor results, especially if you don't have good conversion tracking. All right, how are we going? We're about halfway through now. Let me know if you're dying, if it's making sense to you. I'm going to keep talking, but please give us a bit of feedback in the chat to let me know how you're feeling with things so far. From there, we've got ad extensions. We're going to cover this off in more detail later. Keywords. Someone asked me about broad match versus broad. Now, I've been doing Google Ads for about 7 or 8 years. Thanks, Todd. Thanks, Victoria. I've been doing Google Ads for about 7 or 8 years now. And back in the day, you had to make really complicated campaigns where you covered off on all the match types. We will cover match types in a second. But now, just answering the question, I mainly use broad match modified and then some exact when I need. So I probably should have said that after I explain what these things are, but I got a bit ahead of myself. So, all right, broad match. Special symbol, there's no special symbol. Women's hats. So it's really broad. I almost never use broad. You just pull in far too many options. So it includes misspelling, synonyms, related searches, and other relevant things. So women's hats could be by ladies' hats, which is really very different. Broad match modified, which is my hot pick. You put a plus symbol behind each of the words. Another pro tip here for those people who are a little bit more savvy. If you're having trouble driving traffic from a keyword and it's all broad match modified, try removing a couple of these pluses so that some words are broad and some words are broad match modified. There's a little pro tip for everyone else who's just learning from the start. What we got here is things that are similar to the keyword. They contain modified terms or close variants, but no synonyms. And they can be in any order. So hats for women. It becomes a bit more specific. From there, we've got phrase match, which has pretty much been made extinct by the broad match modifiers come out. So these are phrases that are close variants. And then finally, you've got exact match, where it has to exactly match the term. It's very, very close to the term if it's not exactly the same. Now, these are fantastic terms to use when you get a bit of runs on the board and you find that there's a term that's just hot for you and it works. When that's the case, by all means, add an exact match and negative it out from your broad match. We'll cover negatives in a second. And you will see a much, much cheaper cost per click on an exact match. Generally because, the cost per click can vary. Sometimes it's more expensive, sometimes cheaper. But what you will find is everyone who's typing that is really keen on that one thing. But you really need to know that people are doing it. So that leads me to a great point, which I don't think I've got highlighted specifically anywhere in this presentation, is that Google Ads is test and measure. I've never walked into a pitch meeting or spoken to a boss and said, I'm going to build you a brand new campaign. And that brand new campaign is going to be fire from day one. It's just going to be amazing. That doesn't happen. Reason I love this so much is that I wasn't smart enough to get into science, and this is the closest thing I can be to a scientist. So it's all about test and measure. It's all about trying things, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, throwing them in the bin. That is the key to Google Ads. So get some keywords that work, that seem to make sense for you, throw them up, and then find out what works and remove what don't. All right, negative keywords. This is really important. I've got a very funny story about this. I'm going to try it very quickly. I had a client years ago when I worked predominantly in SEO, and we're moving into AdWords as well. And this client was very happy with us, but was very hesitant to give us their Google Ads account. They spent a fair bit of money. I think they spent $10,000 a month from memory, or two. It was a bit of money. And I said, look, just let me review it for you. Just have a look. Now, these people did fleet tracking. They tracked cars, so big fleets, public, what would it be, like a taxi service, for instance, and they're tracking all the different vehicles and where they go using GPS, but remembering that this was a much more lucrative thing, 5 or 8 years ago. And I wanted to have a look. So these guys were just tracking fleets of vehicles, and I had a look through and looked at his search terms, like the search report that we covered off on earlier, and I found this thing called GPS cat trackers. I had no idea that this existed, but what it is, it's a collar for your cat, a little GPS receiver, and you can go and look on an app and you can see where the cat went through the day. And it's really interesting. If you have a second, just Google GPS cat tracker, and there's these maps of the weird, wacky stuff that cats do. They go all over the place. Anyway, this company had spent $10,000 in GPS cat tracking terms in the search report. And I went back to the client and I said, do you sell this particular product, these GPS cat trackers? And they said, no, of course not. I said, well, you've spent $10,000 on these terms. So I tell you this story to highlight the importance of reviewing your search term report, and anything that doesn't make sense for your business, add a negative. For those of you who are super keen out there, if you personally send me an email, and again, we'll cover that later, contact me on socials or email, I will send you a really good default negative list. It's got over 100 words in it. And these are things that usually you're not targeting, like the word porno. So if you want that, contact me directly and I'll send that through to you. But basically with negative terms, we're trying to find keywords that we don't want and we're adding negatives in. The easiest, simplest way to do that is just to do exact match negatives, so copy and paste each one. If you find an opportunity where you can see that a term should never be in your keywords, you can add it as a broad term, but be very careful about that. Okay, moving on. Keyword research. How do you do it? Well, there's lots of ways and there's a million different tutorials, and honestly, we could do a whole 45-minute video just on that. But the overview is use Google Ads Keyword Planner, so you must be spending money for that, which sucks. Use the Google Ads interface that will auto-suggest. And SEM Rush is also a fantastic tool for doing keyword research. But there's another one that I'm going to add to this list, and that is ask people. If you get somebody to try and do something on the web and you watch them, you will be shocked at the weird and wonderful ways that people achieve objectives. It's nuts. It really is crazy. So another great keyword research tool is just ask friends and family to go sit in front of the computer for me, and what would you do if you're looking for a crash repairer? Or what would you do if you're looking to buy chocolates online? And just check out the kind of words that they use. But yeah, anyway, going back to keyword research, throw your URL into the keyword planner and into SEM Rush. They'll have a bunch of suggestions for you. Go through all the different services and put those keywords in, and they'll generate even more keywords for you. You can have too many keywords, but I recommend people have a lot of keywords in the beginning and then go down. Don't go really broad and then go, shit, Google Ads isn't working for me because I'm picking all these really obscure terms. A word of warning with the keyword planner, these estimates are kind of crazy. So I would take them with a grain of salt. Use your intuition and go, does this keyword make sense for my business? And it's all about test and measure. Better off throwing 100 keywords into an account that you're not sure if they work than Google telling you they've got like really low search volume, say 20 or 10 or 0 searches a month. Those keywords might be money for you. That might be that specific set of keywords that just drive you through. I had a lawyer as a client in the past, and they had a really big problem, which was the cost per click was $34. So that's, that can be a whole day's budget in one click. And they really struggled to see any value in their Google Ads. And I ran a lot of tests and did some weird and wacky things. And I ended up finding really unique, specific terms that related to their business that I could get down to $5 and $6 a click. And that changed their whole business, because we could then spend their budget, which I think was $5,000 a month, effectively, and drive new business for them, rather than them seeing practically nothing out of Google Ads. Moral of the story, get a bunch of keywords, throw them in. Moving on. This is a keyword planner. See here, I put in Hague chocolate so we can see all the suggestions down the bottom. Pick as many of these that make sense to you, and then move on with your life. Ad groups. Once you've got your big list of keywords, say you've got a list of a couple of hundred, they should be tightly themed. They should be tightly themed around a topic or an idea. So some suggestions, not that you have to use these, but suggestions that have worked for me are location, so sort of suburb, prospect, or whatnot. Whether you're buying online or you need someone to come in, you say online. Price is another great one. You want to, as I said earlier, theme them around your service. Really think about the user experience here. So if I type in crash repair prospect and I click on the keyword, am I going to get an ad that makes sense for me? Well, I mean, the ad's going to come up here. Is it going to make sense for me? Is it going to make sense for me? Emma's just written in. So that original Hague's ad has a misspelling. Is that on purpose? Yeah, you win the gold prize. I put that there on purpose just to test you, and there's always one person that finds that one out. I've delivered this a couple times before, and people have pointed out that that's wrong, and I've left it in there just to see who's paying attention. So you win the gold star, Emma. Well done. Where was I? Think about your user. So when you've got nice tight ad groups, think about, well, if someone's seeing the keyword and they're seeing the ad, does it make sense? If I'm crash repairers prospect, do I have an ad that talks about something that's really broad and generic? Because if I'm saying crash repairers prospect, I want somewhere in prospect. So in your ad, you want to say I'm in prospect. Now your ad groups dictate what ads align to which keywords. So it's really important that you have tightly themed keywords, because when you write your ads, you make them specific. When you make the ad specific to the keyword, people are more likely to click on that ad and come to your website, buy your stuff. Okay, 10 to 25 keywords is a good rule for ad groups. Default bids, if you're using maximize clicks, you don't have to touch bids. And ads and extensions sit inside an ad group. Moving along, we've now got our brand campaign created. For all those of you following along at home, I'm very impressed if you've got there already. So we've created our base campaign, and now we're going to go through and actually create the ad groups. So we're going to create an ad group, and the first thing we're going to do is put our ads in. So it's really important that you fill out all of this, or as much of it as you possibly can. So we've got the final URL, that's where people are going to, right now it's the home page. Just a note on destination URLs, they should be highly specific to your keyword. If you're just sending everything to the home page, you're not going to get the conversion rates or the time on page that you need to do really well. So consider building specific landing pages to a product or service. Or if you've got them already, definitely send them to that product or service. That's going to do much better than just a homepage. If you don't have that functionality, obviously the homepage is better than nothing, and you will see results, but much better results coming from someone who's landing on a page that's really specific to the ad. So, if you think about that yourself, you're in this situation. If you're looking to buy Hague chocolates online, and you click on the ad and it takes you to the store locations, that's going to piss you off. It's going to make you angry, because you don't want a store location. You want to buy it online. So we've got a headline. That headline is 30 characters long. Because we're covering a brand, the first thing we want to do here is put the brand names so people know they're in the right place. If we were talking about the crash repairers that I can't get out of my head now, whoever put that up there, you're getting a lot of crash repair relevant content. Good work. That's why you should always put stuff in the comments. We want to put the crash repairer's name if it's the brand. If it's not, we want to put the term that's most specific to the keyword in the ad group. So whatever that might be. If it was online chocolates, we want something specific to that in the headline. The second headline is backing up premium quality chocolates. So we're giving someone a real reason to buy. So generally, this is your unique selling proposition, or something that you've used in your sales team, where you've got feedback from people and you know that it works. Just keep in mind, and then we've got the third headline, which sometimes shows and sometimes doesn't, depending on what device you're on. You see we've got Easter collection out now. We're using a topical promotion to drive more interest. Then we've got the description. So this sits underneath. Let me go out here. This sits underneath everything I described before. That was across the top. So we've got Emma still picking on me for mistakes. Wayne's asked a question, which is a good question. Is it okay to use shortened URLs for descriptions as opposed to the full URL? Have a client who uses short and then redirects to long URLs. So your display URL will come up different to your actual. Your display. It's a good question. You've got your final URL can be different to the display URL. So what that means is that you can't see me pointing at my screen. So this is the final URL. This is where we're going. We've got. And then here we've got the display path. So they can be different. Look, I'm in two minds with this one. I want things to be as quick as possible, so I generally use the full URL. But if it's not going to look good in the interface, and that's important to you, then a shortened URL will also work. It's pretty confusing to have a URL without the brand name in it, though. So you kind of take those on and work out what you want to do with it. So we've got the first description here. We're really using sales copy to push people to make an action, and then again the second description here will sometimes come on and will sometimes not. And the reason that so you've got to keep that in mind, because I've seen people write ads that only make sense across description 1 and description 2. It's the same with headline 2 and 3. Sometimes 3 won't be there, so you've got to be really careful that it makes sense on its own. Hopefully that sentence makes sense on its own. I've got to keep moving. From here, you add your keywords. So you put them in great tight themed ad groups. I generally just use Google Sheets to do this, and you add them in. You now have your ad group. Congratulations. All right, next we've created the ads. We now need to go on to ad extensions. For the love of God, use ad extensions. If you're not using ad extensions, you're missing out. And the reason is really clear. They take up a lot of space. They give the person who is using Google and who may be buying from you way more information. It's a no-brainer. Add these in. So first is site link. These are links off to different parts of your site, which can give people more information. Usually contact us, about us, shop. These are some easy wins here when people want to know more information. A call out extension. This doesn't have the ability to click on, but can give people a better idea of your product or service. You can see hurry, limited inventory, apparel, home, giving you a better idea of what it is. And then we've got a structured snippet. There's some rules around this, but if you want a quick, ugly hack, sorry, Google, if you just pick type, you can pretty much put whatever you want in there. So we can see here we have here some blinds. We've got vertical, roller, roman. These are the different types of blinds, but you could put your different services in here. You can be very creative with structured snippets. And then location, I'm not going into too much about this. This is your location of your business. You must have Google My Business for this to work. Very, very important. It won't work without it, and it must be linked to your account. We're going over basics, so I'm not going to cover that. Call extensions, you please, if you're a business that takes phone calls, put your phone number. It makes a huge difference, especially if you're a location-based business where you're looking for people to come and see you. Please put the call there. People are going to be using their mobile phone, searching for you. They want to hit the call button. Really, really important. Landing page experience, quality score. I cannot give this the time that it deserves. So I'm going to completely ignore what you're seeing on screen here. Can I actually go to the next slide? Yeah, okay. We can't because that doesn't make any sense. All right, ignore what you're looking at. Listen to my voice. The better quality your landing page is, your ad copy is and the keywords you select, the lower you pay. That's the bottom line here. If someone has a terrible landing page experience on their ads, they will pay more and they will sometimes not even rank as high as you. In the example here, we can see the advertiser, I told you not to look at it, now I'm asking you to look at it. Look at me go. The example we see here, this person's paying $1.61 and they're getting position 1. Now, the reason that is because they've got a better quality score, which means their ads are better and their landing page is better. I'm not going to delve into this too much, but basically, if you are advertising something with your keyword and your ad copy is really clear and they go to a landing page that's specific to them, you get a better quality score and you'll get a better ad rank, and that'll mean you'll pay less per click. Google is not a place where you can just throw a lot of money at it and it just works. That's not the kind of advertising this is. Google's disincentivized that because they don't want crappy ads on their platform, especially now that they're trying to make them look like everything else. So you really don't get an advantage of throwing a lot of money at it if you've got crappy landing page experience. Work on your landing pages, work on your ads, always be testing, and you will see good results. Setting up your billing. All right, this is really straightforward. Billing's in the top right-hand corner. You select your country, you make sure it's in Australian dollars, you add your credit card, you move on. Whew, we did it. I'm so excited. We got through it. We've got 5 minutes to spare, so I'll take a deep breath. Further study. Well, if there's interest in an intermediate and an advanced webinar, I'd be more than happy to put those on for you guys. So really just, on social media, on the chat quickly, if you've got the time, let me know that you want an intermediate or an advanced, or you want me to cover display. But for those of you who can't wait for the next webinar, we have some great options here. So Linda has a great course on how to use Google Ads. It's really basic and simple. If you were dead new to Google Ads and you just watched this video, go to lynda.com. Thanks, Matt. I'll definitely keep that in mind. So the next level would be great. So we'll definitely look into an intermediate. Lynda.com is a great way to transition from what you've just watched to move up a level. From there, you've got Google with where you can become certified. And that is a great course as well. It's a bit more detailed. And then finally, you've got this Udemy course, which I think is like $20. This is amazing. It's huge. It's insane. There's like 50 lectures in it or something. It's like 40 hours long. I don't know. It's very long. It's very big, but it's brilliant. So if you want to go to the next level and dig in real deep, this Udemy course is fantastic. It'll really help you to take your stuff to the next level. Moving forward. All right. So here's my little pitch. We do these free webinars, and we really appreciate you coming and listening to us. And at the end here, what I want to do is just let you know that I work at Digital Marketing Tribe, and we'd love to work with you if we can help you with your digital marketing. So it's not just Google Ads that we cover. We cover a lot of social media, so that can be social posting on Facebook or Instagram. We also do social advertising, as well as Google Ads. We also cover SEO. I personally love SEO. That's where I got my start in digital. We do email marketing and digital strategy. So this free consultation is an hour. You sit down with myself, and we work out from a business perspective where your pain points are, where we can help you, and then come up with a brief plan. So that's what we'll do for free. We'll give you an idea of the digital marketing channels that you can use and the problems that can be solved. So if you're at all interested in working with myself and the guys at Digital Marketing Tribe, you can email me at corey@digitalmarketingtribe.com.au. You can visit the website and submit a contact form request. You can hit me on LinkedIn. So I'm at LinkedIn/IN/Corey Wolf. I was really lucky to get on early with that one. Or you can even give me a call on 0412 895 772. And I'll be more than happy to talk to you about your digital marketing needs. Thank you all so much for your positive feedback, guys. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Nguyen. Thanks, Emma. Thanks, Jennifer. Sorry, Jennifer. Thanks, Akash. Thanks, Lawrence. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Carlo. Thanks, Wayne. Thanks, Owen. Cool. You want an advanced webinar? That'll be cool. I hope I'm saying your name right, Owen. Thanks, Wayne. Thank you all for coming on. Yeah, thank you all for interacting. Thank you, Emma, for calling me on my spelling mistakes. I really appreciate that. Thanks, Todd, for coming along. Desiree, you're a legend. Thanks for coming in and commenting. I really appreciate that too. We will be running these every fortnight, so check out the socials for the next event. I love your work. Thank you very much. We probably don't have a lot of time for questions. We need to get off in a minute. But thank you all so much. Hit me up on socials if you do have a question and you'd like a hand. And I'll see you at the next one. Bye, guys.